Viking MTG. Here for the first official deck tech. Today we are doing Mono Black Monument. So this is a deck I built a while ago. It's an awesome deck. It really gets the job done. It's about $45 total, so it's pretty budget. Most of the cards in it are going down in price. The majority of this deck will cycle out. I'm going to try and put together there's no point putting together a monument deck. I'm going to try and do a mono black that is rotation proof, that's also budget. But for my patrons that like to play budget decks, here we go. Mono black monument. I'm not going and sitting on a couch and ripping off Def SBMTG. So our first card, one of our most important, is Bontu the Glorified. Bontu, he works really well. The monument makes him cost 2 instead of 1. He's got Menace and Indestructible, and you pay 1 and a black, sacrifice a creature. You get to scry 1, and each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And that ability activates him and allows him to swing. It's extremely useful. He fits perfectly in this deck. I'm going to show you the rest of it. Next, the outlier, the card that I wanted to make work and have made work real well, is Demon of Catastrophes. Demon of Catastrophes is absolutely awesome. If you have the creatures to sacrifice on turn 4, and plus if you get a monument out on turn 3, he's, bam, you get him out for 3 mana and you still have enough for a fatal push. He's a great card. And you're going to have, when I show you the rest of it, you're going to have creatures to sacrifice. Guaranteed. So, next card, Syndicate Trafficker. I like this card in the deck. Once I have Bontu's Monument out, he's only 1 mana to cost for 1 mana cost for a 3/1, or even 2 for a 3/1. Still pretty solid. You can sacrifice an artifact, put a 1/1 counter on him, and he gains indestructible until end of turn. I went with 2 of him. You can do 3 or 4, but he is nice to have. He's just a nice swinger in there. He's a lot of fun to play, so I put him in there. I put 1 Yahenni in there. You can sacrifice creatures to activate Bontu. It works really well. And also, anytime you kill a creature on the other side, he gets +1/+1. And there's a lot of damage going out here, so we can do a lot of killing. And this card, I use this card to fuel my sacrifices. Weaponcraft Enthusiast. He creates the servo tokens. If you absolutely need a 2/3 out there swinging, you could put the +1/+1 counters on Weaponcraft Enthusiast, but I have him there for sacrificing. I will cast him on turn 3 if I don't have a monument out, and then cast a turn 4 Demon of Catastrophes. You hope to have a monument out, of course, but if you don't, then you cast turn 4 Demon of Catastrophes and sacrifice him, and you still have 2 1/1 servos on the field to sacrifice to Syndicate Trafficker, or Yahenni to keep him immortal, and Demon of Catastrophes, get him out big, plus you activate Bontu. It all meshes together really well. The Weaponcraft Enthusiast is just a really good way to make sacrificial lands. The other black creature that I'm putting in, I don't think there's a choice here, is Marina Master. Marina Master packs a big punch, and making her 5 mana to drop turns out to be pretty good. 5 mana for a 4/6, even if you use it that way. And, it's great. If you put an artifact you control into a graveyard, no matter what it is, it die. I mean, opponent loses power equal to Marina Master's power. So it's a rock solid card. It really gets the job done. It was on Deb's list of cards. Well, he was going to put it on his list of cards that could have been great, but it has actually seen a lot of play. I've seen a lot of play from it on MTGO, and I've seen it at FNM. Here's a card that some people may not like, some people may. I think it's an absolutely outstanding card for this deck. Scrap Heap Scrounger. Anytime you're playing black creatures, I think you have to mesh this in. You can just keep bringing them back, so you can sacrifice this thing, and then if you have enough mana on your end step, you can bring them right back out of the graveyard and have them swinging, your next turn. He's absolutely outstanding. It's a great card for this deck because I can constantly sacrifice him to everything. Sacrifice. Just keep him going. He'll activate him. He'll act as his sacrifice if you need to. He'll activate the sacrifice. Will activate him. It's an outstanding card. Art of Kieran. I threw 2 Heart of Kierans in there. This is a budget card now. Thanks to those challenger decks, Heart of Kieran became a budget card. And anytime you have scrap heaps in your deck, in my opinion, you have to play Heart of Kieran. You really do. It's outstanding. We don't have a Planeswalker in the deck, but that doesn't matter. We have Syndicate Trafficker can activate him. You can always throw him on Bond 2. If you don't have Bond 2 activated, you can use Heart of Kieran. You can activate him, Heart of Kieran with him. Scrap Heap Scrounger will activate him. It's outstanding. It's a great card. I think you have to play it. Now, and here is our main artifact that, of course, we have to play. It's the corner of the deck. 4 Bond 2's Monuments. Bond 2's Monument, of course, is outstanding. It just makes all these little guys one cheaper. It's an outstanding card. Makes Demon of Catastrophes a 3-drop. Makes all these cards. It really makes a big difference. It's necessary for this deck. Now this is one of the options, but I think it's necessary, especially with the artifact sacrificing that we can do. 3 treasure maps. Being able to get those treasures out, be able to sacrifice them to all these creatures that you have to sacrifice artifact for, like Marina Master and Syndicate Trafficker. It's outstanding. It's a great card for that purpose. Now these I think are absolutely necessary. You can use these to trigger Bond 2 by getting rid of one of your Weaponcraft enthusiasts or whatever. They're outstanding. I did 3 fatal pushes. You could do 4. I just think 3's a little 4's overboard because after a certain point, fatal push does you no good, especially if you're playing against mono green. They get their big derpies out. You can't get rid of them with fatal push. We have Cast Down. And Cast Down is another budget card that's great. And remember, fatal push is down to $4. Great card. We have 2 Doomfalls. Doomfall is down about 50 cents, or less than that. It's a great budget removal card. And then Argo's Bloodfest is another outstanding card for black. In my opinion, it's necessary to put Argo's in here. You do need draw. You do need card draw, and that is our main source of card draw. Doomfall is my budget version of what's her name? Vraska's Contempt. It's a budget version of Vraska's Contempt that costs 1 less. And it has an alternate ability. You don't gain 2 life, I know, and you don't necessarily target your exile, but if they have a Galta and a Steel Leaf out, they're taking one or the other. It's going to stink either way. Or even better, if they have a Ronus and a Steel Leaf out, they got to get rid of one of the 2. Both of them are going to stink. And it is an exile, so I think it's outstanding. It's a great card. And like I said, the Marionette Masters are dirt. Online, they're like 7 cents, and they're maybe a quarter, 30 cents at your LGS. Craft Enthusiast is a bottom barrel uncommon, barely any cost. Yahenni is 50 cents, 60 cents. Syndicate Trafficker is 15, 20 cent rare, if I'm not incorrect. You'll see the price on screen. Demon of Catastrophes is 58 cents, I believe, at the time of filming. Bantu is $2. Treasure Map is one of the more expensive cards in this set. You have to take that into account. Most of the cost in this set is Fatal Push and Treasure Map. But in my opinion, you need the Fatal Pushes. They're down to about $4 a piece, which makes them affordable. In my opinion, that's quite affordable for standard. Compared to a lot of my decks I run, that's very affordable. And Treasure Map also is moderately affordable. I managed to keep this deck right about $40, $45. And I will go ahead and show the sideboard. Sideboard, more brief. I went with Yahenni's Expertise. Yahenni's Expertise is outstanding against the mono white decks, any of the decks that run a lot of smaller creatures. At mono green, this has trouble against mono green. It's not going to get rid of Steel Leafs. It's not going to get rid of Galta. It's not going to get rid of Verdor's Gearhulks. But even against Constrictor, you can get a Mining Constrictor and other cards off the board. There's still a lot of play with Constrictor. You will still see that deck out there. To Yahenni's Expertise. Yahenni's Expertise is cheap right now. I believe it's 30 to 40 cents. You'll see the price on the screen. 2 Hours of Glory. It's necessary to be able to sideboard this in. If you're playing against mono green and they're running Ronus, which every mono green deck does, or you're playing against Hazoret and mono red, being able to blow them off the board and get rid of all the copies of it is absolutely huge. 2 Crooks of Condemnation, just to deal with graveyard hate. There's not as much of it as there used to be, but it takes away the targets for Torrential Gearhulks, Scarab God, everything that plays with the graveyard. You know, they lose it. Essence Extraction, I believe, is outstanding. You can actually use this card later game to gain 3 life off one of your own chumps. You can blast Weaponcraft Enthusiast to 0/1 once you've created servos with Essence Extraction. Deal 3 damage to him, he dies, you activate Bantu, and you gain 3 life. It's a great combo to get rid of one of these chumps. You can also use it on Scrap Heap Scrounger and then bring him back and gain 3 life. It's a great way to stay in the game. If you have a tight matchup, it's a great way to keep yourself in the game. I'll put 2 more Doomfalls in there because, like I said, I'm to save money. I'm substituting these for Vraska's Contempts. And Arguel's Bloodfest, I'm also using. 1 more Arguel's Bloodfest. Just so I can sub it in. If I really am having trouble with card draw, I'll sub it in. And I think absolutely necessary against control, 4 Duresses. I always play 4 Duresses when I play black. I just don't think you have a choice. There's so much control in this format, and being able to take fogs away from the new fog deck is massive. The fog deck is going to be legitimate. And even against a deck like this, fog is going to murder you. It's going to be unbeatable if they play those fogs on you. And having, to sideboard 4 Duresses into your deck when that happens, and 4 Doomfalls is going to be able to remove the 8 fog spells that they will have. So you're putting enough discard into your deck to remove all the fog. It's huge. So this deck is actually outstanding. It rounds up to about $45. It works great. I'm going to play it probably maybe tomorrow or maybe just before FNM, I'm going to do a live stream and play this on MTGO so everybody can see how well it plays. I'm not going to build it on Arena because I don't want to spend the extra money on Arena to build more and more decks. It's ridiculous spending money when I've already spent the money in MTGO. So here it is. And my lands, excuse me, I forgot to go over my lands. I went with 23 lands. So 37 in my main board. Of course, 15 on my sideboard and 23 lands. I went with 3 Fields of Ruin, which I know they're a little on the high end, but they're like $1.89 now. They're around $2. They're not what they used to be. If Near Deadlands, which is still around $1. You have to, in my opinion, you have to have If Near Deadlands. You can use it to blow up your own creatures and activate Bontu, or you can use it, to take an enemy creature down. And I went with 16 swamps. So that's what I went with. This deck does work very well. Like I said, feel free to use it. Come up against me in FNM, no problem. If you beat me with the deck, that's awesome. So, hope everybody enjoyed this. Hope everybody likes this deck. Let me know what you think. I wanted to find a way to make Demon and Catastrophes work, and I like Bond too as well. I wanted to make him work before the end, before he goes away forever. And I just think it's an outstanding deck. I hope everybody has a great FNM. Get out there and play FNM. I will post this before, hopefully significantly before FNM kicks off here. And one of my Sarkons just sold on eBay. So I hope everybody enjoyed this. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about it, like I just said. And everybody have a great weekend. Peace.